And it was almost like an experience of, it was holy. It was like, I can't believe in my mind we did these to these decent people. How can the Arab world, how can my people be so cruel? Especially that many of them came out of the Holocaust. And so I spoke to them about Israel. And I told them, I discovered that Israel was not, should not be an enemy. What are we afraid of? We're 1.2 billion, they're 5 million. They are actually an asset in the region. It's exactly the opposite. Israel could be an asset. They are with the Arab wealth and Arab ingenuity and Israeli ingenuity together, we can make the area a superpower in the world. But I told them that my people are not ready for peace yet. I'm very sorry to say that, but my people are not ready for peace. And then another reason I support Israel is the cradle of the culture came from the Jewish people. Middle East culture was enriched by the Jewish people. Don't they deserve this little state to represent them, to represent all what they gave to the Middle East? They don't deserve acknowledgement. That is another view of how I support Israel. I support Israel also because this is their holy land. We Muslims have Mecca and Medina. And I don't want to offend people by taking their holy land from them. It's a blessing to have another religion's holy land next to us. Why not? I also appreciate the Israeli culture's compassion, tolerance, forgiveness. The Israeli people in general are really an asset to the region and not an enemy. They treated my brother, they saved his life in Hadassah hospital. They treat many other Arabs, not just my brother. They have a lot of compassion. They're very eager for peace. Their language is very similar to our language. Culture is very similar to our culture. And I love to live with other nationalities, other minorities. I like minorities. They add to the diversity in the culture. They enrich the culture. I don't want to live only with Muslim Sunni, and that's it. We have, as Arabs and as Muslims, we have to start appreciating the influence of other cultures, the influence of other religion. The Middle East was never totally Sunni Muslim, never. And people who want to make it totally Sunni Muslim are really not doing it a favor. The existence of Israel in the region is a blessing, and it should be supported by more and more Arabs. And I encourage, through my website, Arabs for Israel, for more and more Arabs to speak and say, this little country that you can hardly see on the map deserves respect.
Do you think the Arabs will ever make peace with the Jews?
When the oil is gone. When the wealth from oil is gone.
Your brother was successfully treated in an Israeli hospital. Please share the events of that.
Yeah, 10 years ago, my brother was in Gaza. He collapsed and had a stroke. All the Arabs around him said, what do we do now? He's unconscious. Do we take him to Cairo hospital or Hadassah hospital? Each and every Arab around him agreed, said, if you want him to live, take him immediately to Hadassah hospital. When I heard this story, I immediately saw another dimension of how Arabs see Jews. There is some hypocrisy here. If they claim they are the monsters they are, if their claims about the character of Jews are what it is, why would they choose to go to be treated there for treatment? And I discovered that really, truly, in time of crisis, Arabs trust Jews. They trust their expertise. They trust they're going to do the right thing. They trust that Jews will rise to the occasion. And they did. And my brother's life was saved by Hadassah Hospital. And I thank the Israeli government for allowing this. And I thank the doctors and nurses of Hadassah for treating not just my brother, but a lot of Arabs. And they are devoted to being professional. And this is never told in the Arab world. There is no gratitude for Israel's compassion and competence. You never see any story in Arab media about anything good that Israel does. Even when Israel withdrew from Gaza, it's supposed to be something that they would appreciate and say, this is good, thank you Israel for withdrawing. Now we have our freedom. No, there is nothing good enough that Israel can do. What they did was roll their missiles and start attacking Israel. But if you notice, in Gaza, before they started attacking Israel, there were a few months of a mini civil war in Gaza between Fatah and Hamas. And guess what they did to solve that little mini civil war? Whenever there is disagreement, the only unifying factor is go attack Israel. You attack Israel, the mini civil war ends. That's what happens. Same thing happened when in 1955. Nasser was becoming very unpopular in Gaza. There was an intifada against Nasser's brutal regime because he put many of them in jail. And to end all of the mini civil war in Gaza and the intifada against Nasser, what did Nasser do? He intensified the Fida'in operation against Israel. This is the dynamic that the Arab world does all the time. They use Israel as a scapegoat to their own problems. It's the only way to end civil war, to end riots, to divert attention over the corruption and the mismanagement and the problems, is attack Israel, Israel retaliates, the problem ends.
Do you feel that the average American understands militant Islam? Do they understand the danger? And if not, why?
No, the average American does not understand the full scale of the problem we're facing. And many are concerned about, oh, my civil rights, I'm being, in the airport, I'm being annoyed, our government is taking too much of our liberty. They're more concerned about blaming their own government than blaming the terrorists and blaming the forces that support the terrorists.